Former Pentagon Chief of Staff Kash Patel for more on all this. Kash, you just heard the Pentagon, John Kirby, whose position, I guess, was the one you held when you were at the Pentagon. I mean, he just said there's no change in the timeline, that we're sticking to the timeline, even though Adam Schiff and other Democrats of his ilk are saying there's no way we can get all the Americans out by then.
Yeah, it's a remarkable statement here from the spokesperson of the Department of Defense. And when I served as Chief of Staff running the conditions-based withdrawal for President Trump, we provided these plans to the incoming administration, which they ignored. I don't put any stock in any statement by this DOD, by its spokesperson or its Secretary of Defense or the chairman, because they completely contradict each other in the presidents of the United States. They can't even tell us how many American citizens are in country. They can't even agree that al-Qaeda is a threat or isn't a threat. They have no idea what's going on with ISIS Khorasan province and the continued threats that Americans face in Kabul. And there's no plan. That's the most important there. There's no plan except to react to Afghanistan and Taliban demands.
Kash, did you, during the Trump administration, have an accurate figure on how many Americans were there?
Yeah, that number, I disagree with the spokesperson for the White House when she says we don't know how many Afghans or Americans are in Afghanistan. Afghanistan is not like another country. It is a theater of war. We have very particular numbers in the intelligence community and the Department of Defense because we work with these individuals, we know the NGOs, so we have a good guesstimate. Now, it's impossible to know precise numbers, but for this administration to come in and tell the world they have no idea how many Americans are there, that's because they failed to plan and they politicized the Afghan withdrawal process. And now they're setting a false target date of August 31st just so they can say, oh, we removed all Americans. And they're going to claim that as a victory and the media is going to help them. And I think that's just a moving of the goalpost.
So this is a charge that has been made by others, but it is a very serious charge. Let me just put a fine point on it. You're saying the reason we don't have specific figures of Americans is not because they don't know what it is, but because they're going to leave Americans behind and they don't want to admit it. Is that what you're saying?
They are going to create, they have not created a plan like we did under President Trump. And when you create a withdrawal plan based on conditions, you account for every American in country months ahead of time. You can't do that when the Taliban takes over a country in a week. They had no plan in place to secure the Afghan peace agreement, and they had no plan to track Americans. And that's why they're going to continue changing the numbers and say on August 31st, we successfully withdrew American citizens. And I'll come back on this show and tell you that I was wrong if in September they're still not Americans stranded in Afghanistan.
Well, what's extraordinary, Kash, is right now they're not admitting to Americans being stranded in Afghanistan. Right now. I mean, we just had yesterday, our own Peter Doocy had a tete-a-tete with Jen Psaki over this issue. Let me roll tape and get your reaction. Go ahead.
Does the president have a sense that most of the criticism is not of leaving Afghanistan, it's the way that he has ordered it to happen, by pulling the troops before getting these Americans who are now stranded? Does he have a sense of that?
First of all, I think it's irresponsible to say Americans are stranded. They are not. We are committed to bringing Americans who want to come home. We are in touch with them via phone, via text, via email, via any way that we can possibly reach Americans to get them home if they want to return home.
There are no Americans stranded is the White House's official position on what's happening in Afghanistan.
I'm just calling you out for saying that we are stranding Americans in Afghanistan.
Well, but she's being called out, Kash, by major media, Politico, New York Times, et cetera, admitting in screaming headlines that, yes, Americans are stranded now in Afghanistan, contrary to what she just said. I mean, it's quite clear. I would almost go to the point of saying it's delusional to suggest that they're not Americans stranded in Afghanistan. And their heartbreaking messages to us and other contacts that they have are a matter of record.
You're absolutely right. And it's not irresponsible. The only thing that's irresponsible is for the White House to lie about this situation, the safety of American citizens. And I know the media is reporting on it heavily, but as a former career officer in the intelligence community and the Department of Defense, my former brothers and sisters who worked in Afghanistan currently are working on plans privately to help American citizens escape Afghanistan. That's how I know they're stranded. My guys on the ground and through our networks are working to assist Americans because this government has failed to assist every American on the ground. That's the most real proof you can have. And we are going to continue to fight on that mission because we never gave up our mission and we never gave up our planning and procedures, and we're going to continue to leverage our resources to do so.
And Kash, you have members of the G7 now crying out, saying, extend the deadline. The deadline, we cannot stick to the deadline because of the fact that there are these stranded Americans, there are stranded French, there are stranded British that are still behind enemy lines. And I think it's fair to say that they are enemy lines, even though there's cooperation, whatever that means, between the Taliban and the U.S. government right now. But going against our allies, our G7 allies, in order to concede to Taliban demands. What does that say about the United States right now?
Our credibility is cratering. And then let's just stark juxtaposition between President Trump and President Biden in terms of surrendering Bagram and not supporting our allies in country, in theater. You see America's allies across the world now responding with categorically true information that America is leaving them behind without a plan. And we are leaving our allies for the first time in Afghanistan with no plan. And it's not surprising to hear the Angela Merkels and the Boris Johnsons of the world criticize this leadership here in America because there is no plan. Surrendering Bagram Airfield was the unconditional surrender of Afghanistan because we gave up our brain center and our NATO base where our allies work and operate, and they know that.
Now, you continue to hear comments from the Biden administration, from the president himself, putting blame on the Trump administration, on the administration you served. Here's how President Trump himself, former President Trump, responded to that on Fox Business last week. Let me just roll tape and get your reaction. Go ahead.
You got to get your people out, and you got to get them out first. Then you take your equipment out, and after you take your equipment out, you bomb the hell out of the forts so nobody else can use them, because I was going to do that.
You were there, Kash. First of all, is that true? Was that the game plan, and did people in the administration, the Pentagon, realize that was the game plan back then?
That was our game plan that we came up with the President, the Secretary of Defense, Director of National Intelligence, and other national security officials for Afghanistan based on the intelligence. The people, it's no surprise to President Trump, Americans always come first. And second was the machinery and the weapons. Now this millions and billions of dollars of machinery and weapons are being touted by the Taliban, Al-Qaeda, and ISIS, and they're going to be used against us because there was no plan to remove this machinery. We had the logistical operation in place to do so, and without Bagram, we can't do it. That just shows to show you how little this administration planned by cutting off the head of our apparatus.
Well, you may have just answered my second question, which was, is it too late? Is there any way that we can put into operation that game plan, find out where the caches are, where the weapons depots are, and bomb the hell out of them? Is that off the table now?
It's not entirely off the table because our intelligence community and our Department of Defense continue to collect intelligence on the ground in Afghanistan, and we have air superiority in Afghanistan all day long. It's just a matter of whether or not this administration has the will to release the Predator program over Afghanistan and bomb those places and crush our enemy like President Trump did. I don't know if the will's there. I sure hope it is, and I sure hope it returns, and they can claim it as their own plan. None of us care. The mission matters more. And I really hope we're talking in the near term about how they at least secured a couple of pieces of that plan and maybe even secured Bagram Airfield again to do so.
To link the word will with this administration at this point in history seems absurd, doesn't it? Final word.
You know, again, I think you're right, and I hope I'm wrong, but basically what they've allowed to happen is the failure of leadership and the politicization of the national security apparatus. And then what you get is you have a strategy of hope. Hope is not the national defense strategy of the United States. Planning, preparation, and execution is. And we're just not seeing that today.
Kash Patel, good to see you. Thank you very much for being here. It's a sad day for America. I appreciate it. Coming up next.